Look at that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of Throwback. Just kidding. Racing Wednesday. Today, as you can see, though, I am throwing it back old school to some more SATA off-road racing action. And there's a very good reason for that, other than the fact that, obviously, I love this game. But I'll explain that as we get into our races. So for now, let's just take a look here at my championship series. You can see I'm number 1 in the standings, 90 overall points. K&N is second, and Trailmaster is bringing up third. Then we have those guys there at the bottom. We have 7 races left. We are still in the first season and all that stuff, and we have 10 laps per race. Now today, as you can see, we are in the tropics on a map called Terrace Ledge. Now this track, I should say, doesn't have the most jumps and bumps and all that kind of stuff, but it does offer some technical issues. Particularly one place I've found difficult is right here, because you come down and around and it's very easy to spin out if you're not paying attention. And then actually what's worse is there is a little bit of a jump over here, and if you don't angle into the corner correctly, you'll go sailing into the corner of the map. And there's a few other good spots as well, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. I will admit right off the bat, I'm going to go medium here. Weight distribution, we'll put it to the back just a little bit. I will admit that this is not one of my best tracks. I do love it because it's in the tropics, and I love the pop of the colors in the tropics, but it's still not one of my best tracks. So let's just dive right into it, and I'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about what's going on. So if we get into here, go ahead and switch over to our cockpit camera view, which I always love. Like I said, I understand it can be kind of claustrophobic for some people to look at, but it's just easier for me as a driver to get into here than it is to try to watch the car from the outside view. Now I'm going to try to follow their line, and of course I go a little bit too fast right away into that corner and smash that sign. That's the first jump that I was talking about. It could be very easy to over-accelerate down that straightaway and then hit that at completely the wrong angle and go flying almost to the border wall. See, here too is another spot where if I accelerate too quickly, I'll spin around and get completely effed up. But you see, so far, there's not a lot of huge jumps. There's some little technical bumps like that one right there in the corner. And then, all of a sudden, after a weird little visual glitch popped up on the screen there, did you see that? Oh, dang it, I almost got too far off to the side. But then when we come around this section here, you get this odd jump into a jump. And if you hit that wrong, it can do a lot of damage. Basically, you can accelerate too fast, and when you come off of the first little jump at the bottom, you smack right into the ramp of the second jump on top, and it can cause tremendous amounts of damage to the vehicle, especially if you're in the buggies. It can do a lot to those. Okay, let's see if I can't sneak up a position here. I'm driving this one very, very cautiously right now. I know you can't see what I'm doing with my foot or anything, but just let me tell you, I'm braking a little bit more than I should, and I'm letting off the throttle a little bit more than I probably should at different times. Oh yeah, just cut me off, you jerk. Just cut me off. Now, one reason why I decided to play this today instead of Wreckfest is simply because, well, I want to save Wreckfest for a time where I can do like what I did with my last Wreckfest video, where I can do a little bit of single player and then maybe throw in some multiplayer with some friends. And I've been a little bit busy and I haven't been able to join them. Oh no! Oh no! Well, there goes my race day. There goes my race day. Fuck. I've been a little bit busy and I haven't been able to join them, even though they've done some races, which look like a ton of fun. So I kind of want to save it for a day where I can connect with them and get something recorded, both single player and multiplayer. And I took this corner too hot. You can see that there. Yeah, I am not good at this track at all. We're in 6th place. We got a little bit of damage on our tires. We're not too bad off yet. But I'm going to go ahead and turn the heads-up display off just because it's going to drive me up a wall. Having all of that on the screen. There we go. The other reason why I decided to go for this today is because I already had my Logitech G29 set up. Previously, in Wreckfest and a couple other racing games like Grid and stuff, I have been using my Thrustmaster, which I think in a game that has force feedback, that controller handles a lot better. The Logitech, as I've stated before, just kind of rattles in your hands because it's just gears. The Thrustmaster uses a gear and belt system, and it feels a lot better. Oh, don't you fucking... Oh! I had him too. Oh, I totally had him to get into the next slot, and he just royally screwed me over on that by cutting way into there. I think he knows that too. Anyways, this game does not have force feedback. I mean, it says it does, but I think with the way the systems work, it's a little bit too old to function. And so, let's see if we can get this good. Get a decent kick out of this. Nope, he's still there. Okay, anyways, it doesn't exactly have force feedback functionality right now, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's something I would have to do to configure it, but it doesn't work properly anyways. So driving with the Thrustmaster in a non-force feedback game, I've found out, kind of feels a little bit loose. It feels a little bit awkward. The turning isn't one-to-one. Like right now, this steering wheel in front of my face, in front of your face on the camera, and the one in front of my face on my desk is like one-to-one. I mean, where I'm turning, it's turning. There's a little bit of a dead zone in the middle, but not a ton. There's just not a lot of dead zone. And so by the time I get to the 180 degrees on my wheel, or even a little bit less than that, the wheel on the screen has caught up, which is pretty nice. Let's see if I can make this a good little whip around turn there. Look at how far ahead those guys are. This is just not going to be good. It's not going to be a good race for me. I mean, I'm in 4th, but it's just going to be difficult. And if you haven't noticed, I should add, if you haven't noticed, I've done a couple GTA 5 roleplay videos with OCRP, a group that I recently got into and have been having a ton of fun connecting with people in. And I found out through some testing in the 5M modification app thing that they use that the Thrustmaster also feels a little bit weird in there because there's no force feedback. And the one thing about the Logitech, because there are 2 motors inside of it, holding the wheel and everything steady, without force feedback, it actually feels quite a bit like a real steering wheel. Like if you got in your truck or in your car and you turn the wheel and you feel that little bit of resistance, it's not a ton. It's not like you have to really crank the wheel, but, you know, even in a less resistant space, you can feel a little bit of resistance. And the Logitech, like, just on its own, no force feedback, it really simulates that just because of those two gears, or those two motors that you're turning against. So it feels a lot tighter, a lot neater, a lot more, like I said, a 1-to-1 ratio with what's going on in the game. And I found that out through 5M as well. I don't know if I can catch up to get into third. After this lap, I'm going to turn the heads-up display back on to see where I'm at as far as timing goes and everything else. I'm probably not doing very well here. But a turn like that right there, if I would have been using the Thrustmaster, I probably would have spun around and totally lost control. It's kind of weird how the two things, even without force feedback, can be so different. But then again, they are two different brands, two different companies. You see, we're in fourth. We're on lap 7 out of 10. Our times have gotten better and better. Or actually, they've gotten worse and worse. What was I here at first? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Gosh dang it, I hate this turn. This is definitely one that I hate the most. Two seconds behind my best. I haven't raced this in the trucks in a long time. I think I stated in one of my other SOTA videos that I started off practicing this whole YouTube stuff, and I started in SOTA practicing racing the buggies. And those are a lot easier to control in many aspects, just because they're lower to the ground. They have better suspension. I think they're rear wheel drive, but yet they don't. They still have weight in the back because of the motor being back there. And so with the pickups, when you get into these, there's an awful lot of chances for you to spin around a lot more and roll and do things like that because they're up higher. There's no weight in the back. They have a lot more horsepower, so you can really get things going and stuff like that. And I find myself driving a lot more cautiously in these than I do with the buggies. Like, you can maybe even hear it if I shut up for 5 seconds. Just what I'm doing with the throttle. I'm probably getting off the throttle a little too quickly, sometimes even having to get on the brake. But the funny thing about this game is, if you play it right, you don't even have to brake. You could just do throttle management the whole time. It's kind of crazy that way. Should be coming up on one of our last laps, I think. Or no, we're on lap 8, so we got a little ways to go yet. The one thing I like about this track is the ability to see people as they're going around. Some of the other tracks are so big, or they don't really come across each other again, so you don't know where your opponent is. But on this track, you can see there's like nobody ahead of me for miles here. I'm kind of off on my own. And yet at times, if I come around here, I bet you can see somebody going up the hill over there. You can probably see somebody going across the top. I know I was able to last time. And you can really see where your opponents kind of are. There's one right there. Some of the other tracks that are either so small, like Desert Treat, where you're not really going to see the guys unless you're nearby them. Or they're so large, like there's a couple others that are so huge, and they don't have any real loops or anything to come back to. So you just don't see where everybody is. But this is one of those nice little huts there in the corner. This is one of those where you can really see a lot of times where people are. I don't know why I decided to point that out, but there's a cool little soda trailer. Like I said, grandstands and soda trailers are something that I planted everywhere on any track that I ever made for this game. This is the last lap. We're not going to do so hot. Unfortunately, 4th place seems to be about what we're going to get. I did not mess with the torque or the horsepower or suspension or anything. If I had, you know, maybe we'd be in a better position. But I just think I drive this track a little bit too cautiously because of my past experiences and spinning out and losing control. So I think 4th place is actually not too bad. We're quite a ways ahead in the overall standings, and so 4th place isn't going to kill us. We're still going to get some decent points anyways. Go ahead and take a look here at the end. Yeah, I got a little bit of damage there, but I'm not too bad. There's been times before where I've lost wheels at that jump back there. There's the checkered flag. Guy whipping it around as fast as he can. All right, so now we're at the top of the standings with 102 points. K&N is now behind us with 90. 6 races left. Let's take a look at what the next race is going to be. All right, so if we take a look here, next up we are on the figure 8 in the country. And you take a look, there's quite a bit of mud down here, but the rest of the track is all dirt. What I'm going to do still is keep the tire tread at deep. I already switched it. You just didn't see that. I'm going to keep the tire tread on deep, and I'm going to keep that weight distribution slightly to the back just because I want to try to be able to come off of this jump here in the middle a little more on the even side. I don't want to have it roll and rotate on me and really screw me over. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the figure 8. Get myself down here into the cockpit, put it in first gear, and away we go. You can see there on the left-hand side of the screen that we do indeed have a nice little figure 8 where there's this sweet jump in the middle coming from both directions there that can often lead to some difficult situations. Hopefully we get to see something fun. Now, like I said, it's dirt. Might even be packed dirt. I don't know. It's just regular dirt all the way around until we get off of this next jump, and you'll be able to see down at the bottom corner there that it is a bunch of mud. Like a lot of mud. Like a long section of mud. And as far as I'm concerned, oh, well, first of all, we got to make this corner nicely. I locked up the brakes a little bit, so that wasn't too good. As far as I'm concerned, the deep tire tread doesn't hurt us too much on the regular dirt, and it helps us a ton in this mud. Like right now, I'm actually faster than this guy, but I'm kind of having to let off so that I don't completely get hung up on him. If you've watched some of my past videos, I've tried to explain that if and when you start bumping with somebody, you can really get hung up on them in a hurry. Like, things can go south pretty fast. Oh, I locked up the brakes. Oh, he helped. He helped. Awesome. Oh, here I was all worried that they were all going to pass me. That really kind of hurt my radiator there a little bit, but that bump definitely helped me stay in this for the time being anyways. Come off of this big jump here. Even though I got that weight distribution to the back, you can see you still nosedive a little bit. I probably could have put more weight back there, but I wasn't sure. I probably could have put it further back. I'm just never too sure. And like I said, I don't like to do time trials. I like to just come out and get into the race. Let's see what kind of mischief I can cause coming off of this jump here. See if I can get underneath him on the turn. Nope, not quite. He straightened out before I did. Come on, baby. Nice even jump. Oh, nosedives just a little bit. Don't lock up the brakes. Man, it does not take much to lock up the brakes. I mean, I have those mods from 3D Wrap that you can put into the pedals and stuff like that. And I have the brake mod. I got the medium one. I should have went with the lighter one. But I got the medium one, and I can barely push the brake down. Yet I'm still locking the tires up nicely. Oh, look at that. Fucking beautiful. Not very technical, but still, from an arcade standpoint, that was a beautiful cutoff. I'll take it. As my screen glitches a little bit again. I gotta come around this mud. I should be coming around wider. I know that. Should be coming around wider so that I can get lined up and get accelerating down this straightaway faster, but alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. I know those guys are right behind me. I know I'm gonna keep locking brakes up, I guess. Apparently. That's just my thing today. But I'll just turn that all off, and we'll focus on the race here ahead of us. This turn is kind of difficult because you really want to accelerate, but if you hit it too hard, you're going to just spin right around. Did we have an accident there behind me? Oh, we did! He hit somebody. Look at that damage on him. Two people must have collided up top. Either that or this guy was in last place and we're about to lap him already. When I get going on this straightaway, I'm going to hit the heads-up display. Take a look here. Heads-up display. Oh no, this is first place in front of us. So he hit somebody. Alright, gotta slow down nicely. Try not to lock the brakes up. I know they take that turn wide and then go straight up it. I end up cutting it off. This one, I think they cut off a little bit faster than I do. I take this one a little wider. Kind of interesting. Sometimes I try to follow their line, and other times I'm just like, nope. Not gonna do it. Gonna do my own thing. Slow down. Don't. Dang it. I locked him up. Okay, well, I guess I found the downfall of the deep treaded tires on dirt. They tend to spin a little bit more on dirt for some reason. They're good in the mud, though, I can tell you that. When you have medium or shallow treaded tires in the mud, it can feel like you're driving through tar. It can be so bad. It just feels shitty. But then, oh man, this was a bad turn. But then with the deep tread, you feel like there's no issue and you just fly right through the mud. Well, I can tell you one thing, the caffeine's hitting me good here today, that's for sure. Feeling very, very talkative. Yeah, don't hit me, please. Don't cross that figure 8 up and totally ruin my day. In second place, I could possibly, if I could do things correctly, take first. We'll have to see what happens here. I'll wait until the last lap to put my heads-up display back on. Around a little wider. See how wide he goes? Before he straightens back out, he goes almost to the edge of that. There we go. Oh, beautiful jump that time. A little cautious on the landing again. And believe it or not, these bumps that I'm going over as I come up that hill, they can really get you too. They can really get your axles some damage. Here we go. Oh. Now that we're so far into the race, I worry every time I go around that somebody is going to be there trying to take me out. Looks like we might have to settle for second place in this race, depending on if this guy makes a mistake and if I can get by him. Right now, he's running better than I am, it seems. And that's okay. Like I said, the older I get, the better I am at accepting my fate, so to speak, and not getting pissed and quitting and restarting and all that kind of stuff. Also, I'm a lot better at not getting nervous. When I was younger, oh man, a position like this, a little race like this, where I'm right behind him the whole time, and I'm thinking, you know, it's him or me, I would often end up screwing up. I would just get so nervous that it's like you would talk yourself into making a mistake, you know? You would worry yourself into a mistake. And now that I'm older, I mean, I get a little tense. This is still pretty exciting for me, despite being old as hell. And I do get a little tense, but not like I used to. I don't worry that I'm going to be the one making a mistake. Take it a little bit more cautiously. Are we not on lap 10 yet? Okay, we're on lap 9 out of 10. We're in second place. We got some damage. When we get to lap 10, I'll go ahead and put the heads-up display on completely. And we're coming up to a lap E. Oh, he's nice. He moved off to the side. Oh, no. What a sequence of events there. Holy shit. Tries to avoid the lapper or the lappy, I don't know. Am I the lappy? No, he'd be the lappy, right? I'm the lapper. I'm the one lapping him. Anyways, tries to avoid the guy that's down a lap. Hits the post. Fuck. If I'd have known that was going to happen, I could have probably taken advantage of that somehow, but oh, that whole sequence was crazy. Come on, one lap to go. We got this. We got it, we got it, we got it. Let me go ahead and put this on right away. Looks like nobody's going to interfere with our jump here, thankfully. Okay, we're going to come up behind him. Hopefully he makes a mistake like that again. This time I'll try to take advantage of it. See what we can do here. Yeah, you see, he takes that turn better, and so he's already accelerating quite a bit more than I was going up the hill. Go. Oh, that was beautiful. Maybe hard to tell, but that was really a beautiful turn, I think. Okay, we're behind him by a second, it says. I think right here, if I smack into his ass. Actually, I didn't mean to. Kind of just meant to cut to the inside of him, but I ended up getting a piece of him. It's often hard to tell with the way this camera is, just where they're at off to the side. Like, there's no way I could parallel park with this camera angle. Oh, yes! Woo! We fucked him over good. We got it. Oh, look at that damage, though, in the upper left. A lot of yellow. Red on the back. Wow. Just wow. My tires were close to falling off at that rate. Or my axles, really. I kind of feel bad for fucking him over at the end, but it is what it is. We now have 122 points to K&N's 104. Trailmasters are behind him with 100. And look at this. 86, 85, 84. Could it be any tighter of a race down here at the bottom for who is the worst? We got 5 races left. If we take a look, the next race will be in the desert again on a track called Devil's Bluff. Now, if you get a chance to take a look at this track on the map, and you can even maybe see part of it here if you turn your head, tilt your head to the right. I always thought this track looked like the state of Minnesota. The way it comes around here and has this cutback, and then has the, you know, the northern, not northern peninsula, that'd be Michigan, but the arrowhead. He cuts back here and comes across. I always thought it looked like Minnesota that way. Very interesting track, and we'll take a look at that one next.